girl.
What fun was that?
All-Star experience like?
It was so much fun. Everybody was cheering for the same team. I love that for us. So I was so happy. I had a good time.
What was it like being on the same team with Caitlin Clark?
Hey, I'm just running, and I know she's going to give me the ball somewhere, so I had a good time. I was just running around.
Angel, what was your favorite moment from All-Star overall, whether it was in the locker room, on the streets, or here in the gym?
Just talking in the locker room with some of the girls. JJ told me she was mad at us because we played Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar when we beat them the first time. She was like, I hate that song now. So it's so cool to see, like, we're just competitors.
If we're not paid what we're worth, we'll sit out. That's a line Angel Reese delivered with confidence, a statement meant to sound powerful, even revolutionary. But instead of rallying support, it sparked a wildfire backlash across social media. Critics didn't just disagree, they unloaded. And then came Patrick Bet-David. He didn't respond with emotion. He didn't mock. He didn't yell. He broke it down, piece by piece, using cold, hard financial reality. What started as a bold stand quickly turned into a heated debate about value, revenue, and how professional sports economics actually work. Patrick didn't just challenge her claim. He dissected it with numbers, context, and uncomfortable truths about league revenue, profitability, and player salaries. And here's the twist: once you see the full financial picture, the ratings, the sponsorships, the operating costs, the entire narrative.
The court, we're so cool, so it was fun.
And you all were coached by a legend, Cheryl Miller. How would you describe her impact?
Let me tell you what she said to me when I got my double-double. She was like, I'm starting to like you. I'm like, oh. I don't know if I should take that. Good back. I know, she was good.
That means you got it.
By legend.
Well, Angel, you've had an incredible first half of the WNBA season. You get a little bit of a break now, though. What's on the agenda?
Taking time to myself, shopping, laying down, sleep, hair, nails, me time.
All the above.
Okay.
You've earned it. You've earned
Don't
it.
expect to be posting pictures in the gym.
You've earned it. Well, we will see y'all next time.
Take your break.
Goodbye from WNBA All-Star 2024. Congratulations on the win, Angel. Hey.
Thank you, guys.
Shifts. This wasn't just about paid. IT became about leverage, about market demand, about business fundamentals that be why the time the dust settled, many fans weren't questioning the league anymore. They were questioning the argument itself. And after hearing the full breakdown, you might never look at Angel's sit-out warning the same way again. So here's where things really escalated. Angel Reese, the self-branded Bayou Barbie, has officially taken her fight from the hardwood to the headlines. Now she's floating the idea that WNBA players should sit out if salaries don't increase. Yes, you heard that right, a young pro still adjusting to the speed, strength, and consistency of the league, already talking about shutting it down. That's when Patrick Bet-David stepped in, and his reaction was a mix of disbelief and barely contained laughter. And honestly, you could see WHY to TO him. This wasn't about confidence. It was about timing, about leverage, about understanding how revenue, ratings, and profit actually drive salaries in professional sports, especially in the women's national basketball.
Angel, just wanted to start with that technical foul. Could you kind of walk us through what the explanation was that you got from the referees and just your perspective on it?
Yeah, he said that it was either going to be a tech or a flagrant, and I didn't know how that's determined. And he said it was too late to put it as a flagrant, and I was like, why didn't you let us make that decision, knowing that I have already 7 technicals, and the next one I would have to sit the next game.
Association, Patrick's core argument was simple. You can't demand a bigger slice of the pie if the pie itself hasn't grown. He pointed to league revenue, operating costs, and long-standing financial realities. In his view, threatening a sit-out without the economic muscle to back it up wasn't strategy. It was posturing. And that's what turned this from a pay debate into a credibility debate. Because when bold talk meets hard numbers, only one side survives the spotlight. In this situation, it's far from over. Now, let's slow this down and actually look at what Angel Reese said. Because the internet ran with headlines, clips went viral, opinions exploded. But what were her exact words? And what did she really mean? When Angel talked about players potentially sitting out if they don't get paid what they believe they deserve, she framed it as standing up for value, for fairness, for growth in women's basketball. From her perspective, this isn't just about one contract. It's about the future of the Women's National Basketball Association.
So I think we're going to go back and talk to the league about it. But, I mean, he said it was too late, so I don't know. Yeah.
Just one follow up on that. You lead the league in technical fouls called this year. Do you feel like that's fair? And just kind of what is your outlook on that when you kind of approach games?
It is what it is.
We'll go to Alyssa next. Oh, okay. Go to Brian.
Question for either of you. 28 points in the first quarter. Just what did you guys think was working there well for you guys on offense?
She and others argue that visibility is rising, ratings are climbing, social media engagement is at an all-time high, jerseys are selling, arenas are filling up. The question she's raising is simple. If the league is growing, shouldn't player compensation grow with it? That's the core of her stance. Now, whether you agree with her approach, especially the sit-out angle, is a different debate entirely. And that's where critics like Patrick Bet-David stepped in. But before picking sides, it's important to understand this. Angel isn't just making noise for attention. She's positioning herself in a much larger conversation about revenue sharing, league economics, and player leverage. And that's where this story gets a lot more complicated. Here's where the debate really caught fire.
Say it one more time?
28 points scored in the first quarter. I just wanted to get your thoughts on just what was working well.
I think we did a good job playing inside out. We started off with Mill. She started off really hot early. And I think our defense kind of led to our offense. I mean, shout out to all the guards that guarded Mabry tonight, and being able to hold her to 0-8 tonight. So shout out to our guards tonight for really like locking in and like being able to play her really hard because they did a really good job on her.
Angel Reese revealed she's making roughly $74,000 in her rookie season in the Women's National Basketball Association. And according to her, that barely covers rent in Chicago. Now, the average person, $74,000 straight out of college doesn't sound tragic. In most cities, that's solid money. But from Angel's perspective, it doesn't reflect her brand, her spotlight, or the attention she brings to the league. And here's where the irony hits. Before turning pro, she reportedly earned close to $1.8 million at Louisiana State University through nil deals, partnered with brands like Reebok, PlayStation, and McDonald's, along with several others that SO critics are asking. How does someone go from seven-figure endorsement earnings in college to publicly? Framing a rookie contract as unlivable, supporters argue it proves the league's salary structure hasn't caught up.
And then I had a follow-up for you, Rachel. You second place now all-time for franchise leader, three-pointers. Just want to get your thoughts on passing on Allie Quigley.
Oh, cool. Sick. Yeah, that's awesome. I love Allie Quigley. I've looked up to her for a long time. She's amazing. So she's going to be on this trip tomorrow, so I'll definitely mess with her a little bit on that. But it's really cool. I'm blessed.
Rachel, I'll start with you on this one. You've specifically called out before this team trying to find the will.
The marketability of its stars. Critics argue endorsement money is separate from league revenue, and salaries are tied to what the league actually generates, not individual social media clout. That's the tension. I ask this about fairness, or is this about expectations colliding with economic reality? Because once nil money enters the chat, the conversation shifts from sympathy to sustainability. Now here's where the numbers add fuel to the fire. Angel Reese is on a 4-year rookie contract worth roughly $324,000 total, about $81,000 per season in the Women's National Basketball Association. Stack that next to the estimated $1.8 million she earned in nil deals at Louisiana State University. And the contrast is massive. That's where critics sharpen their argument. They say this is a surprise. It's the structure of rookie-scale contracts. WNBA paid
to win, and especially over this last stretch of games. The games have been particularly more competitive, and today, of course, this is your biggest win all year. How are you guys able to find that will to win this late in the season, knowing that the playoffs aren't coming? Where does that come from?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like our locker room. Like, we really just ride for each other, and we're trying to just find ways to make it happen, like regardless of what the end of the seasons look like for us. Like, this is still so important going into next season, and you want to still finish on a high note, and it's momentum going into next year for this team and obviously free agency. So like, we're just trying to have fun with it still. We're still hooping, and you can continue to get better no matter what.
Is collectively bargained and tied to league revenue, not individual social media popularity. Endorsements are separate. Brand deals are separate. Instagram revenue is separate. Supporters, though, flip the script. They argue Angel's visibility, headlines, and online presence bring attention. And attention eventually converts to revenue. In today's sports economy, marketability is leverage. If a player moves merchandise, trends daily, and drives engagement, shouldn't that influence long-term compensation models? And then there's inevitable comparison to Caitlin Clark. That Clark's on-court production, record-breaking viewership, and immediate impact are often cited as proof of value translating to growth. Meanwhile, Reese's brand forward persona makes her one of the most talked about names in women's basketball, whether critics like it or not. But here's the deeper question. Is this about performance? Is it about market power? Or is it about the growing pains of the league trying to
Also, you guys scored 20 plus points off of their turnovers. Normally, it's the other way around. What did it feel like to try and, create those stops and also find some offense off of those stops? I know you guys kind of touched on it earlier, but having that transitional style basketball kind of come back here late in the season.
Yeah, it felt really good. I think we only had one turnover in the second half, and that's a great start for us. But yeah, it felt really good, not having to come in the locker room and be upset about turnovers, and knowing like how good we can be when we keep the ball in our hands and not turn it over.
That was pretty close to what I was going to ask. But just curious with, when you focus on forcing those turnovers, that was a problem earlier in the year. How much
balance business reality with superstar expectations? Because when salaries, social media influence, and competitive output all collide, the conversation stops being simple. And that's why this debate isn't going away anytime soon. Patrick Bet-David wasn't shocked because Angel Reese might be struggling financially. With her endorsement portfolio, that's unlikely. What stunned him was the demand itself, in his view, asking for significantly higher pay from a league that critics argue has struggled with profitability is a tough sell. He framed it in basic business terms. If a company is losing money year after year, it doesn't typically hand out raises. It tightens budgets. That's the lens he used when talking about the Women's National Basketball Association, questioning how salary increases can happen without sustained profit growth. Then the conversation
has that been a point of emphasis tonight? I think it was 6 steals in that first half, jumping those passing lanes.
Yeah.
How important is that for kind of who you guys want to be?
Yeah, I think it just gives us a boost of energy, knowing that we can just easily score and keep the ball in our hands when we set great screens, get open, and just continue to do great things. So I think we're just in a really good place with that right now.
I agree.
Angel, tonight you were all over the place at both ends of the floor, and you really played with a tremendous amount of confidence, it looked like, and a lot of grit, and took 2 really good 3-point attempts along the way.
Escalated when Adam Sosnick jumped in with additional financial breakdowns. That's when it shifted from emotion to spreadsheets, revenue splits, operating cost.tv, deals, subsidies, collective bargaining agreements. Suddenly, this wasn't about one player anymore. It was about the economic engine of the league itself. And once the hard numbers entered the discussion, the debate got a lot more complicated than a viral quote. Patrick Bet-David wasn't stunned because Angel Reese might be struggling to pay her bills. With her endorsement portfolio, that's probably not the issue. What caught him off guard was the boldness of the demand, in his view, calling for higher salaries from a league that critics argue hasn't consistently turned a profit, raises a bigger business question. When a company operates at a loss year after year, it typically cuts
as well. What does that say about you and your continued pursuit of wanting to expand your game?
Yeah, just trying to get better and do whatever I can for the team. I haven't taken a lot of threes this year, just because a lot of people haven't really left me that open. So that was like the first 2 threes I've taken probably in like 15 games, just because people aren't really leaving me open and I have the advantage inside. So just trying to continue to do whatever I can to just really help the team and just dial in on that.
Hey, Angel. Are you frustrated with the organization or frustrated?
Costs. It doesn't expand payroll. That was a framework he used when discussing the Women's National Basketball Association, the TOM. This isn't about personality. It's about profit and loss statements. Revenue versus expenses, leverage versus liability. Then the conversation intensified when Adam Sosnick stepped in and started breaking down the numbers. That's when it stopped being a viral soundbite and turned into a financial debate. They began discussing revenue sharing models, collective bargaining agreements, media rights deals, and long-term growth projections. The central question shifted from does she deserve more to can the league sustain more?